Hopefully the sound is better this time. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Now these were not easy to rank, and after careful consideration, I think, keyword think, I finally have my top 10 movies of all time as of 2025. Stuff can be shifted around. We have some exciting movies coming out this year. Woo! Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Oh, and I'll try not to spoil too much, but most of these movies have been out for years, so like if you haven't seen them already, that's on you. Sorry. Side note, it sucks writing a script because I have so much to say for the movies I'm going to mention, but I cannot think off the top of my head, so I just have to write it down, so that's why I keep looking over to the side, just if you're wondering about that. Starting off with number 10, Nerve. Please stay, please. I'm begging you. Not everyone will understand this one, but like who cares, it's my tier list. The main things that cause me to enjoy a film is lighting and soundtrack. Heavy on soundtrack. That's great for Nerve because they have neon lighting, and the soundtrack, Gorgina. I remember back when I first watched this in 2016, that was 9 years ago. I was introduced to some great music, to name a few. Lucky I Got What I Want by Jungle, Crime Cuts by Holy Ghost, and Forget It by Blood Orange. This movie is really a time capsule for that 2016 Tumblr-esque era. Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I'm putting down? The only thing that stuns me is MGK and the Casey Neistat cameo. The motorcycle scene where Dave Franco's character has to ride a motorcycle blindfolded whilst Emma Roberts' character has to help him direct him through traffic. The score for this particular scene is also really great. It's really fun. Now this movie was originally in my top 3 movies, but that has changed since then. The reason The Maze Runner The Death Cure is so low on my list now is I haven't been able to watch this movie in its entirety since it came out in cinemas in 2018. Mainly because of the ending, because no matter what I start sobbing. Like honestly, it's not fair that that had to happen to my favourite character. Like, oh, that's Gore of my comfort character. I knew it was going to happen because of the books. Still hurts to see. Score for this particular movie is great, and the opening part of the movie really gets you into the action. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Whoa, what a movie. This movie honestly is a blast and has a lot of iconic scenes. When I first watched it, which was only like a year ago, I would just say that's where it's from when I hear a certain line or I see a scene that I recognize from somewhere else. Genuinely, this movie would be ranked higher if the pacing didn't drastically change near the end. That's my personal opinion. With the final X fight, I just found it too long. Like, I know it's like the finale, and they could have cut it a little bit shorter. The main reason why I have it on my tier list at all is because of the quirky little quips and comments that this movie has. But the last battle just felt like its own little show, little thing to the side, if that makes sense. The pacing from the start to roughly before the two DJ X's fight was really good for my brain. Like, I had to force myself not to skip through the movie like near the end. Soundtrack bangs though. Oh, we are climbing through the leaderboard right now. Step Up 2. When I first watched this, the soundtrack just took me back. Like, hello? Who doesn't like a dance movie? I don't have much to say for this one apart from the fact that it's a fun watch. And the character Moose, amazing dancer. The scene with the ringtone The Way I Are by Timbaland is just so good.
Oh my gosh, I love this song! Everything is awesome.
The Lego Movie has a special place in my heart, only because I've seen it a gazillion times back when I had no Wi-Fi in my house for about 5 months, so I had to download movies so that I could watch it and not be bored in my house, and this was one of them. I could recite this movie if I tried, and if I close my eyes I can like actually watch the movie in my head. Like, that's how much I've seen this movie. And I remember watching this movie whilst eating a tub of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and that's how it became my favourite ice cream flavour. They need to make more Lego movies because the humour is always just top tier, and when the plot of the movie was revealed, my 10-year-old brain was just mind blown. Oh, Mamma Mia, you are dear to my heart. This movie just puts me in a summer mood, and I'm a fan of musicals, what can I say? I listen to this soundtrack often, it's such a fun one. Lay All Your Love on Me, best song. Just saying. There's some really funny moments in this movie that just make it like a light-hearted watch, you know? This movie was only added to my list a couple months ago. Shocker. I know. I only got into X-Men and that whole shebang when Deadpool and Wolverine came out. I was just thinking, right, what's this then? So I had a little dabble and decided it was time to watch all the movies, minus Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. And Logan has now made it into my top 4 films. Now, if we're talking solely X-Men movies, my number 1 would be Days of Future Past. Please don't click off. You guys need to understand. You guys actually need to understand. It's mainly because of the 70s aesthetic. It's so groovy and fun. Like, who doesn't like that? Anyways, back to Logan. It's a very emotional film. However, my emotions were all over the place when the ending happened and I was sobbing, tears running down my face, and then the country music started playing for the credits and I was just like in shambles. I was so confused. I was like, huh? Now I did a little jig, but like regardless, like, give me a few minutes to sort myself out. Now, Clueless has been one of my top movies for years, even number 1 at one point, but only recently has it been bumped down. The aesthetics, the language, the fashion I just adore. This is another one of those capsule movies. Movies? Me. This is another one of those capsule movies, if you know what I mean. The fact that it was recorded on film as well, I really like that grainy effect. The only thing about Clueless is I never rewatched the last 10 to 15 minutes.
I love Josh.
I've seen Barbie twice in cinemas and at least more than 10 times at home on DVD. It's such a good movie, the quick pacing, the humour, the outfits are fun and the soundtrack is gorge. It really makes me regret selling my Barbies when I was younger. I really enjoyed Ryan Gosling as Ken, he's literally me. The quotes are too good. I remember hearing Sublime for the first time in cinema and I was just crying of laughter. And if you don't like this movie, pattern up, you're actually allergic to fun. Pitch Perfect, my love! Yep, this is my number 1. The music and the mashups in this movie are just mwah. I even have certain remixes on CD because they are not on streaming services, at least not in the UK. And I just needed it in my possession because it's just too good. It's actually too good. There's a lot of musical element that sways me to rank higher when it comes to rating my favourite movies, and this one just takes the cake. I've lost track how many times I've seen this movie. It's gotten so bad that when I hear a song that's been in the movie, I have to be like, this was in Pitch Perfect. This movie I think is a key part of pop culture because Hello, the Cop song,